Hey guys, welcome to the MMAOB Daily Show for May 21st. Yesterday was Victoria Day in Canada, so happy Victoria Day to anyone who celebrated. I had a good day myself. Long shot, great movie by the way. As you so of course we're in May, so I'm Adam Martin. Check me on Twitter at Adam Martin. The 5 websites are right for right now. MMAOddsbreaker.com, that's where the podcast is hosted. Check out their YouTube channel. Sherdar.com, MMA Rings. So check out those channels. A ton of news to talk about to get to, so let's just get right into them. The UFC is going back to San Antonio, Texas. That card's on July 20th. That's a UFC on ESPN card, the big ESPN. So that's the 4th event there. No main event yet. We'll still have to wait and see what that's going to be. But they've definitely announced some solid fights for that card. Let's just go through a couple of them. So some were announced last week. Some have been trickling out this week. This morning, I believe there was a pretty decent heavyweight fight. Well, as far as name, and Rothwolowski. Sorry, guys, just a little computer's a little slow right now. I believe that fight for this card as well. Yep. So that's on the UFC and San Antonio card. Ben Rothwell versus Andrei Arlovski. He's just on a losing skate right now. Ben Rothwell just came back for a long-term, I think it was a USADA thing, and also injuries. Came back, lost a close decision to Blagoy-Ivanov. So these guys need a win. It's like almost like a throwback fight to the Affliction days or something like that. It reminds me of. I still have to go with Rothwell in this fight, though, just based on the fact that I think you have to fare Arlovski against anyone at this point. I don't think you can win a fight in the UFC at this point. I would. My initially lean would be towards Ben Rothwell, but just we also have Liz Carmouche against Roxanne Modafferi, flyweight fight, women's flyweight fight. Roxanne looked great against Antonina Shevchenko, no doubt about it. That was a surprising win. I was very surprised she looked so dominant in that fight with her takedowns. Won a split decision. It should have been unanimous. But Liz Carmouche, a couple wins in a row now. She's looked pretty good since moving to flyweight herself. So definitely an intriguing fight. The winner will be in the top 5 of that division. Since moving to flyweight, so definitely an interesting fight there. Also, a heavyweight rebooking between Alexei Oleinik and Walt Harris. That was supposed to go down at UFC Ottawa. It didn't happen. Now, this card. I guess you'd have to go with Walt Harris based on the last win, but if he gets taken down, Oleinik can definitely submit him. He can submit anyone, but he's also in his 40s. His chin's not that great either. He just got destroyed by Overeem. Again, Walt Harris, younger guy, I should say. He's 35. He's not that young, but younger than Oleinik. He's coming off a great win. I'd have to go with Walt Harris. Just initial thoughts on that one, but Oleinik's definitely a live dog just based on his ground game. You also have a women's bantamweight between Raquel Pennington and Irene Aldana. Pennington's just someone that I've never been too high on. She's coming off a couple losses, coming off a solid win in Brazil. It was at that card against Betch Correa. She won the fight by 3rd round submission. Definitely a close fight up until the end, but she looked great in that finish for sure. She's won 3 straight fights. So I personally would actually favor Aldana in this fight, but I'm curious to see what the betting lines are because Pennington's former title challenger. Maybe we'll get a good line on Aldana, but I think she wins. Also, you got a prospect bout, I guess, between Domingo Pilarte and Felipe Corrales. That should be an interesting one. You have Steven Peterson against Alex Caceres at 145. I would assume the loser gets cut. I mean, Caceres has been around forever, and Peterson, he's kind of struggled in the UFC, so probably a loser leaves town fight. You also have a bantamweight bout between Jinsu Sun and Mario Batista, and it's funny, they booked Sun. Me and Aaron Bronsteter, my good friend TSN, we were just talking about Sun a couple weeks ago, and he had that really solid performance against Peter Yan in his debut, where he did lose the fight, but it was definitely a good showing for him. So, that actually I think he can win that fight. But again, with Batista, he lost to Corey Sandhagen. So it's 2 guys who lost to like elite guys. Interesting matchup. And also you have Klidson Abreu against Sam Alvey in the light heavyweight division. And I mean, I'd like to say Sam Alvey wins. I love the guy, but man, he just really has struggled lately in the octagon. And Knockout loss of Little Nog is definitely concerning. So we'll have to see about that one. But yes, so far it's shaping up to be a decent card. You have definitely some local Texas talent in that card, local Mexican fighters. It should be a decent card, but I'm curious to see what the main event is. We definitely need to find out what that is pretty shortly. Also, there's been some new fights announced for the UFC 240 card. That's in Edmonton in late July. So we already know Holloway versus Edgar is the main event. I'm not sure if I gave my thoughts on this in a previous odds and ends or not because it was just announced when I was in Brazil. So, my thoughts are that really it's a placeholder fight because Volkanovski's hurt. Edgar doesn't deserve the title shot coming off of one win over Cub Swanson, but I'd rather see this than no fight at all. So it's okay with me. Holloway should be a huge favorite in this fight. I'm not sure if the line's out or not yet, but it might be out there in some places. I'm assuming Max is going to be 3-4-1 favorites, and he deserves to be. Also, Brian Ortega against Zabit Magomed-Sharipov. I believe Nolan King broke that fight. That's a great fight, but man, it's a tough one to call. Ortega, obviously one of the best in the world, and then you got Zabit, who's looked amazing in the UFC, but he's very untested against elite guys. So interesting fight, but I think if I had to guess, it's going to be close to a pick 'em with a slight lean towards Zabit, just because man, this guy has looked amazing in the UFC, and there's so much hype behind him. Also, we have a welterweight bout between Kyle Stewart and Eric Koch. Kind of an interesting fight. I mean, Eric Koch never fights, so I guess you have to kind of fade him here. But Kyle Stewart didn't look good in his debut either, so another fight could go either way. You have a women's flyweight bout between Jillian Robertson and Sarah Frota. I thought Frota looked decent in her debut against Souza, but she lost. And then you have Jillian Robertson who looked great in the octagon. So especially with the fact that it's in Canada, I think you have to lean towards Robertson, who's been finishing everyone. But again, it's an interesting fight. Also, Romero Barella versus Lauren Murphy in the women's flyweight division. And also, we have Alexis Davis versus Vivian Araujo in the women's flyweight division. So a lot of women's flyweight fights on this card. I'd probably lean towards Murphy in the first one. And then the last one, I think you have to go for Araujo. I mean, yes, Davis is very experienced and she's fought in the UFC a lot, but Araujo, man, what a debut she had in Brazil. Again, at the card I was at with Toledo Bernardo knocking her out in the third round. That's her fourth straight win. So very impressive. One loss in her career to Sarah Frota. Not a bad loss, really. Frota's a decent fighter, like I mentioned. So shaping up to be an okay card. Definitely like to see some more Canadian talent on that card. The Eric Koch Kyle Stewart fight is kind of a strange booking on that one, but yeah, I mean we'll see. They'll announce some more fights for this card. I'm not sure. Like I'm assuming Elias will be on the card. He's the best, I guess, the highest ranked, I should say, Canadian fighter right now. But I'm not really sure who else is available at the moment. And the other card that I want to quickly touch on is the UFC is headed to Uruguay for the first time. So it's Montevideo, Uruguay. That's in August 10th. And there's only one fight announced so far. It's a flyweight bout between Raulian Paiva and Rogerio Bontorin. That should actually be a really good fight. Both those guys, I think, look really good in their debuts. So it's nice to see the flyweight still getting fights booked because I don't think that division should die yet. So that's a nice thing that they're booking fight in that division. But again, it's just initial thoughts is that it's a close fight. So definitely interesting. What else? I mean, really, that's pretty much it right now. There's excuse me, guys. I'm in a little sick lately with a cold. That's about it. They also have the Contender Series. We can quickly talk about that. They announced the first card for that. Let's see here. Okay, so we have Miguel Beza versus Ramiz Brahimaj. Alton Cunningham versus Tony Johnson. Justin Gonzalez versus Zach Lane. Kyle Daukas versus Michael Lombardo, and Miles John versus Richie Santiago. They just announced that card on the last UFC Rochester card. I don't know a lot about the guys on this card. I'm going to have to look into it a little bit more, but definitely, there's betting opportunities for these cards too. So keep your eyes on those guys and definitely do your research on them. And I guess the only other thing would be the Paulo Malignaggi and Artem Lobov thing. I mean, they're going at each other. Looks like they're about to fight in bare knuckle, so that's interesting, I guess. I mean, I'm not, like, me and James talked about this on the parting shot. I'm not super into the bare knuckle thing yet, but yeah, that's definitely a big fight, I think, for them anyways. So definitely interesting to see what happens there. Artem Lobov, for all the guy's faults as a fighter, I mean, he's like a sub 500 fighter. The guy gets eyeballs on him, so good for him. And what else? We have Aspen Ladd calling out Yana Kunitskaya, excuse me. I mean, I don't understand the call-up personally. She's ranked lower than her. You'd think that Ladd would want a top 5 opponent. I don't understand that call-up, so that's a little strange to me. Also, I didn't talk about this, but Sage Northcutt got completely knocked out by Cosmo Alexander on the weekend at ONE Championship, I should say. Brutal knockout for Sage. Man, poor guy. But, he's a young guy. He's still in his – I think he's in his low 20s right now still. Went to one championship. Geez, I mean, that was a tough matchup. I think Cosmo Alexander is a very underrated guy. He's a former Bellator fighter, obviously, very good kickboxer. So interesting there. But yeah, I mean, hopefully, Sage is back. I heard he got some injuries in that fight. Hopefully, he gets healed up quick. And then I guess the last thing we touched on, the Alexander Volkanovski. It looks like he's finally home after that bad foot infection. And again, we talked about him earlier on the show. You're not getting the title shot, but he will at the end of the year. I think beating Jose Aldo is a big deal. 7-0 now, 17 straight wins in May. He's going to get a title shot. So yeah, I think that's about it for the news right now, guys. If anything breaks, I'll definitely check my Twitter out at MMAdamMartin. I'm always there talking about breaking news. I'll be here tomorrow morning as always talking about the news. So you can find me on Twitter, like I said, at MMAdamMartin, Sherdog.com, MMAOddsbreaker.com, MMARigs.net, MMAnews.com, and BJPenn.com. And again, apologies for my voice. I've been really sick for like the last couple of days, so apologies if you can hear that stuffiness. But appreciate you guys for joining the show, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.